Eastern Iowa News 7 KWWL has got you covered.
The only station with reporters based in Waterloo, Cedar Rapids, Dubuque, and Iowa City.
Covering Eastern Iowa like no one else can.
I'm Taylor Vessel.
And I'm Colin Dorsey.
We're both part of Team 7 covering Waterloo.
I'm Ashley Scott, covering Dubuque.
I'm Ashley Neighbor, covering Cedar Rapids.
And I'm Travis Breeze, covering Iowa City.
Waterloo.
Dubuque.
Cedar Rapids.
Iowa City.
And all of Eastern Iowa.
News 7 KWWL, we've got you covered. And good evening, everyone. I'm Ron Steele.
And I'm Abby Turpin. Welcome to a KWWL special report, Growing Forward, the Future of Farming.
Well, tonight our newscast will look a little bit different as we devote the entire first half hour to some of the issues facing Iowa farmers today.
And then at 6:30, our special newscast will continue with a panel of farmers and ag officials tackling just how Iowa will grow forward. We're going to start with the huge economic impact of agriculture right here in Iowa.
That's right, Abby. In fact, the impact is an estimated $72 billion a year. That is more than a quarter of Iowa's entire economy relying on agriculture. Coverage again of this latest winter storm.
Storm Track 7 reporters Amanda Gilbert, Ashley Neighbor, and Taylor Vessel are all braving the elements tonight to give you the latest on the winter weather.
And of course, Storm Track 7 Chief Meteorologist Mark Schnackenberg back in the forecast center right now. He's been tracking it all day, and it came a little bit later than anticipated, but it came.
Yeah, too long of a lull in between the freezing drizzle we had earlier today just because of the wind shift, keeping a southeast wind instead of a north wind.
Some roads may still be slick. Parts of the viewing area seeing 4 to 8 inches of snow.
So let's turn things over to Storm Track 7's Olivia Schmidt live in Cedar Falls as you are waking up with the latest conditions there. Olivia.
Allie and Daniel, good morning. Right now we're standing in the Cedar Falls Public Library parking lot. If you're just waking up today, good news. The snow looks like it has stopped for the time being.
Snowy this morning. Not very often I have a prop here, but you'll need this morning. Please, before you go, wipe off the snow off your cars because as you get on the highway, that snow will blow around, reducing visibility for the vehicles behind you.
Whenever there's breaking news, News 7 KWWL has you covered, on air and online. When a train derailment closed Highway 30 in Stanwood, Ashley Neighbor reported live on Facebook.
We are going to work to get you more information about what happened here.
Then, when a driver led police on a high-speed chase ending at Camping World in Cedar Falls, Olivia Schmidt also reported live on Facebook.
They were able to find this suspect, bring him into custody.
News 7 KWWL, on air and online. We've got you covered.
You know, it's truly hard to capture the essence of Hayden Fry by trying to measure his legacy in wins and losses. Simply, Hayden Fry was a winner and a builder, but also according to the people who knew him well, Hayden Fry made every life he touched better.
I have known former Iowa Hawkeye receiver Robert Smith for more than 30 years, and I've never seen him show emotion like this.
So it's not been easy. It's not. So.
Yes, it is election night all across Eastern Iowa. This, of course, the first time that Iowa's city and school board elections have been held combined on the same day.
And we do have Team 7 coverage tonight. KWW reporters are covering different mayoral and city council elections. We'll get to those live reports in just a moment.
Another seat on the city council. I also spoke with the third candidate tonight, Jim Skane, who says he plans to continue to be an active voice at city council meetings. Live in Cedar Falls, Taylor Vessel, News 7 KWWL.
All right, Taylor, thank you very much. And also staying in Cedar Falls, the city council at-large seat. There is going to be a runoff between Nick Tiber and Dave Sires. None of the candidates getting more than 50% of the vote.
No runoff in Ward 2 as Susan DeBure has been re-elected once again. She started serving back in 2004. Tonight she garnered 54% of the votes in her victory this evening over Derek Rogers.
From 1970 to 1979, 2 women were certified. They are still active today. Now, in the past decade, about 200 women have been certified, and they are currently on active duty.
KWWL reporter Olivia Schmidt met with women from 3 area police departments. Tonight, Olivia is digging deeper into bring us their stories in female forces.
I mean, people are, I think, surprised when I tell them what I do.
In Iowa, 8% of law enforcement officers are women. Some of them never dreamed of putting on a badge.
No, actually, I said I would never be a cop.
No, it kind of I fell into it.
I actually never wanted to be a police officer.
I rode along with Cedar Rapids Sergeant Jennifer Roberts.
If I'm your president, I will treat health insurance for you just as if it were my own family.
So ACA, you're a supporter of that. Do you see any changes necessary in the Affordable Care Act?
Oh,
right
yes. By the way, if you notice, everybody's now adopted the Biden plan.
This is showing how heavy the rain is and kind of blowing sideways on the even lens. So we are seeing a lot of wind with this, a lot of heavy rain. There's a lot of lightning. All reasons to stay inside right at this moment in the Dubuque area. You can see the waves of the rain just sweeping through this intersection.
This inclusive playground is possible thanks to this community. Kids alone raised $13,000 through bake sales, lemonade stands, and birthday donations. And others donated thousands after hearing the stories of children who can't do something as simple as play alongside their friends and family.
For some of us, a playground is simply fun. We don't think about the stairs or wood chips on the ground like Natalie Olson does.
Wheelchair gets stuck in it because it's so heavy.
Her struggles at parks are like Jonah Becker's.
Because they have like wood chips and rocks and...
We get just about every kind of weather in Iowa. 2019 started with record snow and cold. A winter storm tracked through in mid-January, dropping 2 inches to more than a foot of snow across the KWWL viewing area. Bluffton received 14 inches, Decorah 11.8, and Lansing with 10 inches. That round of snow was the first of several during the month, leading to double the normal amount for the month in Waterloo.
This is a special hour-long primetime edition of the Steele Report. Closing the Gap. Racial disparity in Waterloo. With your host, Ron Steele.
Good evening and welcome. Tonight's program is going to examine an alarming economic gap which currently exists between white and black families in Waterloo. Tonight you're going to hear from numerous guests throughout the hour about these issues, and we'll show you some of the efforts already underway to address the critical areas of concern, including issues like household income, education, housing, unemployment, job skills, and job opportunities.
There's an image and a perception about Waterloo that needs to be addressed.
Tonight's program is going to examine an alarming economic gap which currently exists between white and black families in Waterloo.
We have got to get to the point to where we're all working together.
We have been blessed to have this opportunity in history to be able to change the course of our community forever.
On a major milestone, they're all 100 years old.
Perhaps we should say 100 years young.
Possibly.
When you meet them, you'll probably agree. KWWL's Olivia Schmidt bringing us their story this morning. Olivia, it must have been so much fun chatting with these ladies.
They are a blast, and trust me when I say these women are sharp and sassy. I visited them at the Halcyon House. It's their retirement community in Washington. Take a look right here. This is Letha, Irene, and Betty. They all have one thing in common. They were born in 1919. Woodrow Wilson was president, and the pop-up toaster was just invented.
Okay, I'm taking a few shots to the face, but nothing like I took from Abby today as the KWWL news team handled the latest round of the snowfall. We went outside this afternoon, didn't we?
That's right. We had a little bit of a snowball fight. So yeah, like most of you here at the station, we've all been inside for the majority of the past couple of weeks. So in an effort to beat those winter blues, we were very glad to turn Mother Nature's work into a good time with our coworkers and friends today. And hey, we want to mention this. Spring begins in 35 days.
Really? Wow, that's great.
Yeah.
That doesn't mean the snow's going to go away.
It's true.
The snow will still be here. It looks to me like,
It was
yeah.
just glass half full is what I was
But I do owe you one now, for sure, you know. It's only a couple of blocks from the KWWL building.
Police were called to the apartment building near Walnut and 3rd Street around 2:45 this afternoon. Taylor Vessel has been on scene all afternoon. He's standing by live right now. Taylor, tell us more. What do you see at this hour?
Yeah, Ron and Abby, I'm off camera right now so that you can get a live look of this still very active scene. For about the last hour or so, police have been trying to negotiate with the suspect, continuing to ask him to come outside so they can help him. A couple times we've heard them use two different methods trying to coax him out.
Iowa State Cyclones battled on last night but fell to Washington State 28-26 in a heartbreaker in the Alamo Bowl. KWWL's Mark Woodley has our final wrap-up tonight from San Antonio.
Well, it's safe to say the breaks just did not go the way of the Iowa State Cyclones on Friday night. Early mistakes cost them, and they just were never able to fully dig out of that 14-point hole. And after throwing a pair of early picks, Brock Purdy really got things going, through for 315 yards in the game, which was actually more than Washington State's Gardner Minshew. David Montgomery and Hakeem Butler each had big games, and the Cyclone defense, which lost a pair of players to targeting calls, one which was pretty sketchy, held the Cougars to their second lowest scoring output of the season.
This is a Storm Track 7 severe weather alert.
Good afternoon, Chief Meteorologist Mark Schnackenberg. We're checking out another tornado warning now in effect for portions of Fayette and Winneshiek County. It does include the areas of Kelmer, Ocean, and West Union. This tornado warning now in effect until 5:15. So we're looking at the threat for damaging wind, as well as some very heavy rain and vivid lightning with this storm as it moves northeast.
And good evening, everyone. I'm Ron Steele.
And I'm Abby Turpin. Thank you for joining us. And of course, we begin tonight with the weather. Here's a look at what is believed to be a tornado touching down right here in eastern Iowa today. This happening in rural Ocean.
In other parts of the KWWL viewing area, take a look at this flash flooding today in McGregor, up in the Marquette-McGregor area. This is the situation where vehicles, that truck going through their cars, driving through the water-engulfed streets of that beautiful community of McGregor in northeast Iowa.
Well, we have been giving you small updates about our own Ron Steele's adventures in Europe with KWWL viewers on their holiday vacations trip. Well, tonight we hear from Ron himself as they make their way through Europe.
One of the most anticipated stops on our tour, the Normandy American Cemetery, where there are more than 9,000 headstones, all made of marble from the United States. Those 9,000 crosses serve as a sobering reminder of that historic day, the ultimate sacrifices made by thousands of young Americans and Allied forces who took part. They jumped from the sky. They stormed the beaches on June 6, 1944.
And the newsreel pictures really help make it real, sadly.
Top story tonight, severe weather striking eastern Iowa.
There is your wall cloud. Your tornado would probably be there.
Storm Track 7 Team 7 coverage, keeping you up to date on our latest severe weather.
But we believe that this is where the tornado touched down.
But the real thing to look at is right here. This trailer warped and shredded from those high winds yesterday.
This is where two buildings once stood.
This is the tornado right there. That is all on the ground. This is why we are on the air.
Now, each of the 4 schools I talked to had similar policies, but each of them also added something different. So for the next few minutes, I'll let them explain. 4 colleges, varying in the number of students, all of them having some report of rape or sexual misconduct given to campus police.
No, don't mess with her.
For University of Northern Iowa police officer Andrea Jennings, defending yourself is all about awareness.
They're always in their phones. They got to get out of their phones. They got to pay attention.
Statistically, the risk of sexual assault is greater for college women. 25% will experience some sort of attack. For men, it's 15%.
Fetal heartbeat legislation struck down by the courts is unconstitutional. You chose not to appeal that at a particular time. What's your thought process on that? Because I know you are so vehemently pro-life.
Yeah, proud to be pro-life and will always be. Do everything I can to protect the lives of the unborn. So the way that they had filed it with the 72-hour wait being overturned and with the ruling, they kind of...
We're starting that along. It'll take about 3 years probably at least to get that fully up. But in the meantime, the system we have is fully functional and protected.
Now, you know, you have been criticized in your office many times. But how does the Secretary of State become such a critical person? But I think I know you well enough to know that you kind of enjoy that little fight. So,
well, you have to deal with it. It goes with the territory.
Vinton Shellsburg comes in 2-1 after a tough loss last week to Owine. Mark Woodley joins us live from T.J. McLaughlin Field for our very first Friday Night Hero game of the week there in a long time. The lights are even off on you, Mark.
Yeah, they turned a couple off on me. We still got a couple on here, but, you know, normally high school football games don't go 3 hours. That's why we're on a little bit later than we normally would be in the show. This one did, thanks to nearly 28 penalties in the ball game. It wasn't the cleanest game ever, but for the Columbus Sailors, who haven't been 4-0 in the last 15 years, well, it was worth the wait. Both teams going after a big win this Friday night. 1, 2, 3, 5, but the Sailors hit the ground running right out of the locker room. That's Ray Seidel on the first play from scrimmage, and Seidel's got room. There he goes, 48 yards down to the 22-yard line.
That was an increase of 10 from the previous year.
KWW reporter Travis Breeze is digging into the actual cost of running a farm.
Agriculture economists estimate that corn farmers in Iowa sank over $700 into each acre of rented land this year. Now that includes money spent on machine maintenance and supplies. While it is a labor of love, getting back what they invest can be difficult.
I think sometimes going to school for finance would help out some with that.
A brand new set of farm machinery could cost you around $1 million.
I know a lot of the equipment here is probably twice the amount of what my house costs.
Good afternoon and thank you for logging on. I'm Storm Track 7 meteorologist Brandon Libby. One cold front has pushed through. That swept out the rain from earlier this morning, but a secondary cold front is making its way through right now, delivering a thin band of clouds and also maybe a few sprinkles in there. That's going to hold temperatures down into the middle 60s.
In eastern Iowa, you can go just about anywhere on the bike trails, and while they work great for bikes, they aren't the best for a full-size ambulance. But when trauma strikes, it's their job to get to you. Just don't be like me and forget your helmet when you decide to hit the trails.
So if it's, getting off and taking off on foot, borrowing a farmer's Ranger or Gator or something to get you through, we're lucky we have those resources we can utilize, but certainly it does present a challenge and then make the time to the patient, getting to them much longer.
Amber Heller is a nurse practitioner and spends some of her time volunteering in Denver, Iowa.
Halfway between Tripola and then all the way over to the edge of Reedland. So service area is pretty big.
As a rural service, Denver has a lot of ground to cover, meaning they have to be at the top of their game all the time for these summertime injuries.
An Iowa State University report just out indicates that 44% of farmers in Iowa are financially vulnerable right now. Do you think that we could be heading towards another 1980s farm crisis?
Well, look, we're very concerned about some of those, those numbers that we're seeing, and I don't think we're close to that situation yet. But, Jim had said it. We've talked about this when the cost of production exceeds the value of the crop in most cases, or a lot of cases. That's not a sustainable situation. But I think there's reason to be hopeful that we do turn this around. We do start to see a series of Japan-like agreements that we can get on the right side of this, that we can continue to support and grow that market. So that is my hope. But this is a time of pressure and economic challenge for farmers. That is absolutely true. So we need good news, and we need to move in the right direction.
And real quickly, besides Japan, what's your next big target as far as an export market?
Well, again, USMCA passing Congress is the next most important thing that we can do on the trade front. But look, there's lots of places around the world that we can go and expand our opportunities. So, hey, the sky's the limit.
All right, thanks very much.
Thank you all very much for joining us tonight. That does it for our KWWL special report.
Thank our panel here tonight, and also thank you, the Iowa farmer, for feeding our country and the nation. Thanks for watching.
Silent night, holy night, all is calm, all is bright, round yon virgin mother and child, holy infant so tender and mild, sleep in heavenly peace, sleep in heavenly peace.
When I was a kid, my mom started getting Christmas ornaments for me to reflect on one big event that occurred for that year. When I first started KWWL, one of the Christmas ornaments, this was from my parents. And it says, your first TV station, Waterloo, Iowa, 1995. 25 years here at the station, so who would have thought it would have been that long?
Christmas looks a little different this year because we have so many children, myself and Jennifer. She brought 3 to the party. I've got 4, so it's kind of a modern day Brady Bunch.
Happy holidays!
Season's greetings from the Steele family, where just decorating the tree can get loud. We watch our kids with their kids and wonder where the years went. 2 new granddaughters this year is a joy, but getting all 6 together for a picture, that's a challenge. The older grandkids love the lights, and we're just grateful for our blessings. So from KWWL and the Steele family, happy holidays.